Let's get back into it. I was talking about 2 points of interest and how you can use two things within your frame to make your photographs more interesting. Now, this first image is one that I took in Cambodia before. A few years ago, I was in Cambodia doing a story about deforestation and forest fires. And one evening I was out taking images, and I wanted to try to capture an image of these fires that were taking place at night. So we were driving along this highway, and I saw some of these fires next to the road. And so I got out, and what I wanted to do was try to frame the traffic that was passing by with the fire by the side of the road. So I knew I wanted to try to do something different and try to make an interesting image. I didn't want to just focus on the one point of interest, which would be the fire. So I positioned myself first to capture the fire on the left-hand side, but then waited for the car on the right-hand side to pass by, and then captured that car as it was passing just in the right place to the right side of the frame. And so you have obviously those two clear points of interest. And there's also the added bonus there of having the two contrasting colors balancing each out across the frame. So we have the fire on the left in that nice orange color, and the car with that very nice blue color coming from the headlights. So it gives you that 2 points of interest that your eyes kind of bounce between and look between. And also you have the added bonus of that really nice composition with the color and the contrast of the color. The second image, to give you an example, is one that I showed in the original video that you might have seen on the YouTube channel before. And this is an image I took in 2016 in India. I was working on a story about drought conditions in India. That was a particularly bad year for India. And I was actually stood on top of a hill, and I was taking this image with a telephoto lens, 70 to 200 millimeter lens. And I was looking around the landscape, trying to find interesting things to photograph. And I saw this cow sitting underneath the tree. So I zoomed in towards it. And then as I was taking the picture, I noticed this farmer out of the corner of my eye walking across the field towards what I presume was his cow. So the important thing here to think about is to look at what's happening in your peripheral vision. Don't always just be focused on that one point of interest. Make sure that you're paying attention to what's happening in other points, not just within your frame, but also the things that are outside your frame that might actually come into your frame to make a much more interesting picture. And so with this image, I was really lucky that the farmer walked into the frame. And so that now, as he's in the frame, it creates this dynamic between the farmer and the tree, or the farmer and the cow sitting underneath the tree. And it's this interesting kind of playfulness where your eyes move between the two different things. And it just makes for a much more interesting image, having those 2 points of interest in there. Similar in this image, this is another image that I also took in India on a different project where I was working on a story about industrial pollution in the north of the country. And this image works because you have those 2 points of interest. One in the kind of the bottom right-hand corner with the boy scratching his eye, and the other on the kind of the top left corner. So if you think about the rule of thirds, where we divide the frame into the classic rule of thirds, you've got the boy on the bottom right, and you've got this effluent pipe on the top left. So it creates this balance in the frame. So again, we don't just have 2 points of interest, but we have them balancing and contrasting. And with this subject matter, the fact that this is a story about industrial pollution, you've got the boy kind of gesturing to scratch his eye like he's uncomfortable, like something's not quite right. And then you see this very strange sight of the effluent pipe in the background. And it's really quite a strange contrast But again, that all comes from having those 2 points of interest and being aware of what's happening in the frame. Now again, here we've got the 2 points, and I think that's pretty clear how you can see on this image taken on the Tibetan plateau. I've got the hat positioned off to the left and the sleeping girl on the right. This situation was quite interesting. I was traveling around on the Tibetan plateau visiting various families, and one time we were invited in to a local family's tent for lunch, and we were having lunch and drinking milk tea, and this young girl, one of the children of the family, was just sleeping there. So I was able to just take a break from the little lunch that we were taking part in to make this image. But what I like about this one is that the girl is looking off in the direction, or she's not looking, but her head is positioned off to the side, and it's kind of like looking in the direction of the hat. So you have not just these 2 points of interest, but you also have this kind of directional indication. So when you look at the girl, the position of her head takes your view towards the hat. So again, these 2 points of interest, they don't have to be completely separate. They can kind of be connected to one another, and you can use them in a way to lead your viewer's attention from one thing in the frame to another. And this is another example, this image that I took in Mongolia. These are some of the last wild horses in Mongolia that I took during an assignment for Smithsonian magazine. There's this really great moment where the horse in the background is actually looking in the direction of the horse in the foreground, and it's that connection, that look, that connects those 2 points of interest within the photograph that works really, really well. In this image from Indonesia, this is one that I showed in the YouTube video previously. You can see these 2 points of interest. The first one is the young boy in the foreground moving from left to right. And then the second point of interest is the boy in the background moving from right to left. So again, here you have not just the 2 points of interest, but you have this contrasting direction of movement. So it adds this extra dynamic and interest to the photograph. Again, with my style of photography, which is photojournalism, documentary photography, I'm always waiting for these interesting, unexpected moments. And sometimes you get really lucky, like in this situation, but you have to kind of anticipate where people are moving within your frame and try to think about how you might be able to capture it or capture the scene when those elements within your frame move into the kind of quote unquote correct position. There's no 100% correct position, but there are positions where the elements within your frame will work better in certain positions. And again, like in this image that you can see of these two yaks, similar in the way to the images of the image of the horses in Mongolia, we have the two yaks positioned, one to the right, one to the left. But in contrast to the image with the horses, you can see in this image, like in the one that we just looked at, the boys in the flooded ruins in Jakarta, the position of these two yaks are facing away from one another. So again, it's creating this interesting dynamic. You're not just focusing on just two things, but you're also thinking about how those two things are playing with one another and kind of interacting with each other. This is quite an interesting image that I took in China as I was working on a story about exotic pets and the rise of people collecting these very strange and weird and wonderful pets. And this was a portrait I made of a man who had a pet snake. And again, you can see the 2 points of interest in the frame, the man's face on the right-hand side and the snake on the left. But again, there's this kind of opposing relationship between the two. You have the snake looking off to the left and you have the man looking off to the right. So again, it creates this dynamic, this really interesting dynamic between the two different points of interest. So how can you use these two points of interest? Well, first is definitely to pay attention to all the other elements that are within your frame. Don't just focus on one thing. Keep an eye out for what other things are within your frame. And like I mentioned before when I was talking about the image from India of the farmer walking towards the tree, keep an eye out for things that might be coming in and passing into your frame as well. So even as you frame it to begin with, then keep an eye out for other things that you might be able to use within your frame that might make it a more interesting composition. And think about, can those two things work together within the frame? Sometimes it's not enough just to have two things within the frame. Is there that relationship? Are they working together in some way? Are they kind of playing with each other in their position to communicate something different? Try to think about that when you use something else within your frame. You don't have to just use it for the sake of using something else in your frame. You can try to find something that gives your image a bit more meaning. And try to create that balance or conflict between those two things. Okay, let's take a little bit of a moment for your comments and questions. I have selected a few comments and questions from the YouTube videos, but I just want to jump into the comments from the live stream now. Just check in who is watching. We've got Kelly tuning in from Ghana. Wow, nice to have you here with us, Kelly. We have Bao in Hong Kong. Now, I think that might be Bao, who is part of our photo group, which is on WhatsApp and WeChat. And that's a group that you can also join if you have downloaded the ebook. So welcome, Bao from Hong Kong. We've also got Istvan, who is tuning in from Hungary. Welcome, Istvan. And we also have Chris, who is tuning in from Singapore. Okay, I think we're on the same time zone as Singapore, as here in Beijing. And Chris says, love the extended ebook. Excellent. Thanks for your support, Chris. Thanks for downloading that. I'm really glad that you are enjoying it. All right, let's move on to a couple of the questions that I got. And I picked these just because I thought that they might be useful for those of you who are watching here in this live stream, and also to give a shout out to people who took the time to actually ask questions and leave comments on the video on YouTube. So the first comment is from Saifullah111. They say, love your channel, appreciate the effort you put in and the knowledge that you share, sir. Thank you. But as a student of photography, can I ask if having more points of interest will make a picture look too busy? Or is there some geometry involved? Or am I just too green? Thank you in advance. No, you're not too green. No question is too simple, because we all have questions when we're starting out in photography. And I'm happy to answer them and try to help. Can it look too busy? Yes and no. Kind of like I talked about before, is you've got to have a purpose to those points of interest. So if you are using multiple points of interest in your image, don't just have them in there for no reason. Think about where you're putting them in your frame, and think about the reason why you're having them in your frame. So if you don't need more than two things within your frame, then don't try and include more things just for the sake of putting in more things. More isn't necessarily better. It just depends on how you can position them in your frame, and if it enhances your images and helps make them work. If it starts to get too cluttered, if it starts to get messy, then don't include too many. Think about the purpose of your photograph, and that will help determine how many points of interest you want in your frame. Okay, next comment was from a husband and wife duo. Salute and respect from Ontario, Canada. Saw this video on our TV and decided to come over my desktop to leave a comment. While 2 points of interest is easy to follow, multiple points can be difficult. Yes, it can. Multiple points of interest can be difficult. And that's what we're going to be talking about next, about how you can use more than 2 points of interest in your photograph.